What if I told you that you're not lacking purpose in your life? You're just lacking some good goals to strive for. You see, I spent many years chasing my purpose. I was looking for a mission that I could align my life to. I spent hours and hours in thought about this, but nothing changed. I didn't take any steps forward. I didn't really get any closer in all this time that I spent thinking about my purpose or my mission to actually doing anything in the real world. It was all up here, it was all mental. And you see, that all changed for me when I learned how to set good goals. And in fact, by setting goals of things that I wanted to do in life, places that I wanted to go, things that I wanted to achieve, actually my purpose and my mission started to reveal themselves to me as I was on the journey, as I was making progress. You see, when we spend all our time thinking about what it is that we should be doing, we're not actually doing anything. We're stuck over here in this thinking and overthinking space. But actually, when we start to make some progress, we start to set ourselves some goals to move ourselves along in life. Quite often, we then see the place that we want to go. From over here, it's murky and we're not sure what the direction is. But once we actually set out on some goals that are meaningful to us, often that purpose reveals itself. And the same happened for me. You see, for a long time, I knew I wanted to start doing some YouTube videos, but I didn't really know what to do them on. I didn't know how they would align with my interests, my passions. And also I didn't really know how to integrate them into my life and some of the other goals and things that I enjoyed doing. And you see, I spent several years thinking about starting a YouTube channel because I just was deliberating constantly over, was this my purpose? Was this my mission? Was this what I was supposed to be doing? And it wasn't until I actually set some goals of starting a YouTube channel, creating my first video and getting into a regular, consistent posting schedule that purpose started to reveal itself to me. I found what I was interested in talking about. I found my voice a bit more, and it all just naturally pieced together for me. And I want the same for you in your life. Now, it may not be posting YouTube videos for you. It may be something very different. It could be getting into shape, or perhaps dealing with some mental health problems that you're struggling with. These are all good goals to have, and there are ways and means that we can set goals and meaningful goals to do that. And one of the best ways I have found to get towards a goal is that once we've set this goal, we want to implement habits into our life to help us towards it. So whether it's perhaps getting into shape, we're going to set some goals of where we want to go. We might set a target weight that we want to get to, or perhaps we want to be able to do our first pull-up maybe. We set that goal, but then we have to build the habit that's going to get us from the person that we are now to the person that we want to be. And if you need some help with building habits or want some ideas as to where to start, then there's a link down in the description for the Simple Living Reset. And it's a 10-week program that's really going to help you to transform yourself from this place of being a bit aimless, not really having any goals, perhaps not having the habits that you need to have. And it's going to show you how to build those habits and take you to a place where you can be in a really good position to set some meaningful goals for yourself, and perhaps transform you into a place where you have some purpose and you have some mission in your life. I hope that it's going to help you to find that. So if that sounds of interest, as I say, the link's down in the description. But back onto the topic of goals. How do we actually set meaningful goals? How do we set goals that are going to be good for us? Well, I like to do what is called setting SMART goals. And this comes mainly from my work, actually. Is where I first heard about these. And for a long time, I applied them to things that I was doing at work. I applied them to my projects that I was working on. But I didn't apply them to my life. And it wasn't until I kind of put those pieces together that I realised, I'm actually lacking these goals in my life, and this would be a really good framework to set upon for the things that I want to do in my personal journey. So what are SMART goals? Well, SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. I'll go through each one of those in order. So for specific, I'm going to take fitness as an example. Let's say that you want to lose some weight and you want to get into shape. So you might say to yourself, I want to lose 10 pounds. So that is a very good specific goal. You've put a number on it. You know, if you just said, I want to lose weight, it's not very, how much weight do you want to lose? Do you want to get down to a single digit body fat, or are you happy just losing a couple of pounds here and there? Set something specific, give it a number. For me with YouTube, I wanted to post 100 videos. That was a very specific goal. It wasn't just, I want to post some videos. It was a number that I was aiming for. Then on to measurable. I can't remember who says it, but there's a quote that says, what gets measured gets managed. And so it's something that, you want your goal to have an element of being able to be measured. Again, if you're kind of just on that fitness side and we're looking at losing weight, the scales is a great way to measure your progress. You're going to be able to check in with that on perhaps a weekly basis and see how you're doing. If you were just leaving it up to kind of, I'm just going to see how I look in the mirror, it's not very measurable. It's quite a subjective thing. Whereas actually looking at a number on a scale is a very measurable, it's very specific thing that you can record over time. So we want to make sure our goal is specific. We want to probably put a number on that goal. We want to make sure it's measurable in some way. We can track our progress in a non-subjective form. And then we want to make sure that it's attainable. So say you were currently, you don't work out, you're 50 pounds overweight and you want to get down to, back down to a healthy weight. Let's say for a man, you want to get down from 230 pounds to 180 pounds. Well, if that's going to be attainable for you, then you're going to have to make some pretty drastic life changes. And it's not going to happen overnight. So we don't want to kid ourselves into thinking that, okay, well, I've set this goal that I want to be 180 pounds down from 230, and I'm going to do that in 5 days, because it's just not going to happen. You're not going to be able to lose 10 pounds a day for 5 days unless you start chopping off limbs or something. So make sure it's attainable. We maybe could look at saying, well, I've never really lost weight before, so I'm going to start with trying to lose 10 pounds and see how that goes. It's not too far out for me. It's something that it's a struggle, sure. It's something to go for. It's something that's going to be difficult, but it's not something so far removed from where I am now that I don't really know how to even start on this journey. So make sure it's attainable, and make sure it's relevant too. So that's the R. R is for relevant. You want to make sure that it's something that actually is quite meaningful to you. So if you were looking at this fitness goal again, and you were looking to lose weight, but instead you set the goal to, write a book, it's not going to help you on that journey, really, is it? In fact, you're probably going to spend more time sat in a chair at a computer writing or at a desk writing, and it's not going to help you on that journey. So whatever the goal is, it needs to be relevant to kind of what you're actually trying to do. You don't want to set yourself a task of writing a book when you're trying to lose weight. No, we want to set a relevant goal to the general area that we're looking to focus on. And finally is T for time-based. And again, coming back to what I said earlier, this I think mirrors quite nicely with the attainable goal. Sure, we may be able to lose that 50 pounds over, a long period of time, perhaps a year or two. But trying to do it in 5 days just isn't realistic. And for the time-based side of things, we do want to put a time on it, because if we just said, oh, I just want to lose 10 pounds, but I don't really care when, is that going to take you a year, 2 years, 5 years? Who knows? Maybe if you said, though, I want to lose 10 pounds over the next 3 months, you've got an end date in mind there, and losing 10 pounds over 3 months is reasonable. It's realistic to do that. So by putting these five points onto your goal, you're going to get a very rounded goal that's helping you to move forward to where you want to go. But it's going to be something that you can do as well. It's not going to be this, vague thing in the ether or just in your mind. And it's not going to be something that you just don't know where to start with because it's too big. It's going to be the right goal for you. And you're going to write this goal down as well, because there's no point just having these goals in your head. They need to be down on paper. When you write a goal down, it makes it real. And by having a list of goals that you're working towards, it gives you something to get up for each day. You can make that little bit of progress. You can get that 1% better each day. And it really helps you to build the momentum that you need. And often along the way, you will then find that purpose and the mission that you were looking for all along. And it may be that you need to change your goals. You realise something isn't working, or that actually know that your mission is to do this instead. And that's fine. You're allowed to change your goals. But it at least gives you the starting place to move from. And really, I think just to sum up, the idea of humanity having goals, we are these goal-striving organisms. And often I have found in my life, the times where I don't have these good goals to strive for, are the times when I feel most purposeless, most directionless in my life. And I start to wonder, what's wrong with me? And then I realise, I just haven't got any good goals that I'm working towards at the moment. And so I've got nothing to put my energy into. And that may well be the case for you too. So try setting some goals today. Sit down after this video and make some smart goals for your life. And I think it will help you to find that purpose and direction that you've been looking for. And if you want some more help with building those habits as well, as I say, do check out the link in the description to the Reset program. Or if you just want something a bit shorter and a bit simpler, I've also written a short ebook on habits and what I found to be really useful in my life. In fact, they're the things that transformed me from this directionless, purposeless place to where I am now. And that's just a short little ebook in the description too. So do check those out, and thanks ever so much for watching. Take care and God bless.